Hey, 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 happy Monday, ladies. And welcome to my bedroom. Yep. Coming to you live from my bed today for hashtag praying for your husband daily. So just in case we are not besties yet, or you've never been a part of praying for your husband daily, first off, shout out to my bestie who literally just got on, so that's fun. But if you are new to this thing, first off, thanks. Thanks for hanging out with me, because there's nothing worse than a Facebook Live session with no friends. So, to all of you who are here right now, maybe help a sister out and just comment with your favorite emoji. Just your favorite emoji, because the truth is, I'm an emoji-aholic, and we are still in the process of covering the emojis in our series of Praying for Your Husband Daily. And today I actually cheated and went back and caught 2 emojis that we didn't use when we were in the food section. One didn't exist, and the other complements today's topic. So back to who the hey-ho I am while you guys are commenting your favorite emojis. Love it, love it, love it. Rachel, that was not an emoji. That was like a circa 19, well, did we have Facebook in the 19s? Yes. That was like a circa 2002 smiley face though, but I'm going to accept it. So real quick, let me introduce myself. My name is Julie, and I am your hostess with the mediumist, as opposed to hostess with a mostess, for this fun Monday through Friday live stream hangout for wives, or I like to say wannabe wives, which I hope is not offensive because I am a wife. It's been a long time since I've been a wannabe wife, but you know what? When I wasn't married, I wanted to be, so I'm hoping that wannabe wife is an okay phrase, and if it's not, then feel free to tell me to stop saying it. Okay, Rachel, I'll give you the pass on being on your computer, although I'm going to give you a little hack. If you're on a Mac and you want to use an emoji, scroll up to, my computer is holding my phone right now. If you're using a Mac, again, I don't know if this works on PC, but you can go up to the edit box and then hit emojis and symbols down at the bottom, and you will at least get the very first gen, like, keyboard of emojis, meaning the very first ones that came out. No additional ones, which is super sad face. But there's a little life hack in the midst of Praying for Your Husband Daily. If you're on a Mac and you want to get emojis on your computer, edit emojis and symbols. All right, we are way off base. My name's Julie. I'm a wife, been married to my husband for 10 whole years. It just occurred to me that I have an old picture sitting next to my bed. Look how old this is. This is from our honeymoon. How cute were we? So been married to him for 10 and a half years. Been together for 14. I'm a mama. I don't have a picture of him close by, but let's be real. If you follow me on Facebook, you have seen the Lincoln Worth Graham a time or two. So he's 2.5. I'm 30 something, I forget at any given point, but I like to hang out live style with my friends and chat about this thing I casually and lovingly call wifing, because I'm a wife in the 21st century. For a second I was like, is that wrong? Because that honestly confuses me, because I'm also blonde. At least from here back I'm blonde. I'll be fixing that stat come Friday. Visit my friend Jana if you need your hair did, like I desperately do. But wifing in the 21st century has become, dare I say, like, not cool. Hello, Women's March. And like really just like culturally almost irrelevant, so to speak. But me as a woman of faith, I want to embrace God's plan for the family, which is through marriage. And so because I am married, I desperately daily need encouragement from God my Father, from God my Creator, from God my Savior. And I also need community with other women who are saying, yes, I'm a wife and I want to do it God's way. But it's hard. It is hard on the daily with all of my life, responsibilities. Hello, to-do list with 7,498 items on it, with all of the cultural, opinions on it being not cool, not relevant, lame, whatever. And with just, I don't know if you're like me, the selfishism. I don't think that's a word. But the fact that you almost get in your own way as a wife more than anybody else. I don't know. If you're like me, raise your emoji a hand again if you think that, if you're being honest and you were going to make a list of like the 3 top things that get in the way of your wifing, tell me if you yourself would not be on that list. I mean, I would have to be at the top of my list. I am the number one thing that gets in the way of me being a godly wife. So what I've decided to do is to commit every single day to take a moment and pray for my husband. I see that hand, Jana. So how do I do that? I got to get honest with God every single day and say, okay, God, you made marriage. You made me for my husband. You made him, and you want us to have oneness. You want us to have, intimacy in all of the ways, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And so I need your help today. I need to see you as my top priority. I need to see him as my second priority. And I need to be able to grow in my wifing today as you see fit. As you give me grace, I need to show my husband grace. Show me today, every single minute, how to walk that out. That's me. That's why I started Praying for Your Husband Daily, because that's where I am every single day. So, because I've been doing this now for, a really long time, I like to spice it up by using the emojis to make us think of different things that we will pray for. So today, my emojis are the croissant, which is fairly new. I'm pretty sure it was one of the most recent released emojis, and the candy bar, the chocolate bar, which is probably first gen. I'm not sure. So I say that because recently, within the last, can I still say month? Within the last 6 weeks, it has come to my attention 2 separate times, one from my mother-in-law. Who doesn't love it when your mother-in-law highlights some lacking in your wifing? Not my favorite thing, if I'm being honest. But my mother-in-law brought it up once, and my husband has brought it up another time, that I used to make chocolate croissants for my husband. And I'm not even, like, they weren't even amazing. Like, they were amazing because, hello, like, phyllo dough and chocolate, yum. But it's not like I made fancy ones. It's not like I had, like, this epic recipe. I was legit getting, like, store brand chocolate chips and rolling them up inside Pillsbury croissants in a can. Like, you know, on a scale of 1 to, like, culinary genius, it was like a 4. But again, phyllo dough and chocolate, warm, it was amazeballs. So I had gotten into the habit when we were in college. So when we were first dating, real quick, there are 2 of my Katie friends on this broadcast right now. Well, at least at one point I saw your names. Remember, I used to make them for everyone, the chocolate croissants. We'd have hangout nights, like movie nights or whatever, and I would make chocolate croissants for everyone. Well, then after we got married, I started making the chocolate croissants every single Christmas. So this Christmas morning, this past Christmas, my mother-in-law made a comment like, "Oh, are you making your chocolate croissants?" And I flippantly said something like, "Oh, I don't make those anymore." And then I thought about it, I'm like, why don't I make those anymore? 1, because they're amazeballs, and 2, like, she asked me that because she knew it was one of our traditions, and I couldn't remember the last time I made them. And so I had that 30-second thought while I was talking with her, probably Christmas Eve night, and I didn't think about it again until a couple weeks later. My husband made a comment about, "You used to make chocolate croissants." I think he had actually gotten one of Panera's chocolate croissants because, hello, we're a Panera family. And he made a comment about how you used to make these for me and you don't make them anymore. So all that to say, I realized twice in the last 6 weeks that there was something special that my husband used to get from me that he really appreciated, that he enjoyed, that was an easy thing that I could do to make him feel loved and special, and I had just stopped doing it for no friggin' reason. Like, I just stopped doing it. And so twice now in the last, like I said, 6 weeks, it's come to my attention that that's something that he actually enjoyed, and I had no good reason for why I had stopped doing it. So that brought me today to realizing we maybe need to hold each other accountable. Des, I love you. I should make them. It's been like on my, I want to point to my watch because I use the reminder function on my phone, which now goes to my watch for my grocery list. And I have added chocolate chips and croissants, both, to my Publix shopping list. But let's be real. When I go to Publix, 50% of the time I actually check my list, and 25% of the time I get everything on the list when I check it. Right? Right. So all that to say, is there any other wife out there that could use the challenge to, Jana, you know I can't make them gluten-free. You know I am incapable. But recently at the Grit and Grace Project, we published an article on how to start going gluten-free. So there you have it. There's my Grit and Grace Project plug for the day. You guys, do you see how I'm like constantly itching myself? Look how gross I am. I don't know. I think I have stress issues. Topic for another day. But I felt like I needed to acknowledge, because some of you have seen this and you're like, what's wrong with you? That's an excellent question. And maybe in 2018, when my life calms down, I'll have time to go to the dermatologist and find out. All that to say, I'm challenging you as I take the challenge myself. Think through something that you have done in the past, whether it's one time or a dozen times, that was meaningful for your husband, that you haven't repeated or haven't repeated in a while. And you know in your heart of hearts, stop it, Desiree. I'm not cutting gluten from my diet. I'm not doing it. Although you may have just confirmed something that I think that the Lord might have said I need to like find out if I have to look into. Fine, I'm going to look into it. Can I move first? All right, let me focus this train of thought. I love you guys. Now I'm itching. See, you have me stressed, and now I'm itching it. It's stress. I want you all, who's having fun on today's broadcast? Who's annoyed that I'm distracted and who thinks it's funny? I'm just curious. Sit down, take an inventory of something that you have done successfully in the past, and it doesn't have to be cooking. Like it might be, my husband doesn't like me and I need a date night. Rochelle, see? Like maybe you've gotten out of the habit of having regular date nights. Okay, you guys are, all right, you're with me. Rochelle's saying she realizes she has gotten out of the habit of going on regular dates with her husband and she needs to like initiate. So that girl, Rochelle, you are going to plan a surprise date night for your husband, right? Like he's not even gonna know until you line up a babysitter and off you go. So somebody else needs to do that. Like legit, that was me 2 weeks ago. Like I can't remember the last time we sat down and didn't talk about the new house we need to move into and all the work that needs to be done, or you know, my son's biting issues, which praise the Lord have subsided for the time being. You know, the last time we had actually connected without like making it like productive work conversation time. That's necessary in a marriage. Maybe you need to like initiate that. Maybe you need to bring out his favorite recipe, something I need to do. Maybe you need to write him a note. Maybe you used to write him notes all the time and he loved them. And then like, hello, work, child, you know, laundry, whatever has gotten in the way and you just don't do it anymore. But if you were to sit down and do it, it would make his ever-loving day. Maybe, just maybe, you need to like initiate a makeout session. Sorry, just saying that one because somebody needs to do it. Somebody besides me. Story for another day. So that's your challenge for the day. You all need to, I say you all need to think of something, and I need to make my husband some chocolate croissants. And the truth is I'm going to do it for him tonight because he just called me and he's working late. And he's gonna get dinner before he comes home because he's like taking a break now and gonna keep working. So now that I've made this, you know, Facebook official that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna pick Lincoln up, we're gonna go to the store and we're gonna get the supplies and he will have fresh croissants when he gets home. See, look how easy that is. Take 3 minutes to think about your husband, ask God, what's something I can do? Desiree, I'm laughing at you. What's something I can do to bless my husband, and then actually do it? Because sometimes we do this thing where we talk about doing it and then we don't actually do it. So I'm gonna make chocolate croissants for my husband and make out with him. Man, today's session has been like uber vulnerable. You're welcome, or I'm sorry, whichever you need. So that's the challenge for today. That's why today's hashtag Praying for Your Husband Daily is chocolate croissants. In case you were wondering what the craziness I was bringing today, you know, you're just kind of used to it. So I challenge you and / encourage you to think of something that will be meaningful for your husband, and let's go ahead and pray, right? Because at the end of the day, this is about praying. And the cool thing about God, well, It's hard to say the cool thing. But one of the coolest things about God is that he is personal. He wants to hear from you, and he has a word to speak to you, my girlfriend, for what you can do specifically to encourage that specific man who you are married to. He knows and loves you so intimately that he is willing and able and capable and desiring to speak specifically to you about that man that he also loves and appreciates and wants the best for. And he wants your marriage to be whole and complete and growing and fun and chocolatey. That last part, maybe not so biblical. So ask him and then follow through in obedience, knowing that it's going to honor God and it's going to serve your husband. All right, Kathy, I saw your comment. You better get that honeymoon scheduled. All right, so sit down with your man, your new hubs, and figure out when is a realistic time frame that you can get that on the calendar. Because that's a sad thing to put off and never do. But I also know you just got married last month? No, 2 months now. 2 months, I think. So get it on the books. All right, y'all, hurry. Let's get to the praying part so I can go pick up Lincoln and we can go get the chocolate croissants. And legit, my recipe is that simple. Store-bought chocolate chips rolled up in chocolate croissants, bake as packaged directs, and enjoy. They are amazing. And be sure to overfill them. I think that is the key. Just like in brownies, the key is to undercook. The key to a good chocolate croissant is to overfill. All right, hurry. Let's get to the praying. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for who you are, and thank you for the gift of you. Thank you for loving us so much that you want to hear our honest, our silly, and our earnest prayers. Thank you that you are waiting to hear from us. You already know what we want to share with you in those times that we might be fearful or nervous or afraid. When we feel distant from you, when we feel ashamed for the things that we should be praying about and we haven't brought to you yet. And God, all of that doesn't matter, because ultimately what you want is closeness with us. And so God, we come to you at the start of a new week. Some of us are stressed, some of us are overwhelmed, some of us are fearful, some of us are tired already and it's only Monday evening. Some of us are excited because we're in a great season of life, and yet we all come to you separately, desiring to grow in our relationship with you and desiring to grow in our relationship with our husbands. It is our desire as wives who love you and love our husbands to honor you in our wifing. And we recognize that there's always going to be areas where we can be more intentional, where we can be more faithful, where we can be more connected with our husbands. And we thank you for the gift of social media, where we can come together with other wives and relate to one another and feel like we're not alone in the struggles that we experience in this day and age and this culture around being a wife. And yet, God, we want to be encouraged to honor you first in our lives and to honor our husbands second. God, our agendas, our schedules, our work, our children, our homes, our Pinterest boards, our TV watching habits all fight for our attention and fight for our priorities. They fight against our desire to honor you first and our husbands second. And yet, God, we do want to do that. And so we're asking that you would give us a growing desire and then the willingness and obedience to walk out how we can put our relationship with you first and with our husbands second. So would you speak to each and every one of us a very practical and intentional thing we can do in the next 3 days that would put a smile on our husband's face, that would make him feel appreciated, that would remind him that he really is first in our world outside of you, whether it's something intentional that we need to do or say or make or cook or buy or stop buying, whatever it is, God, you can speak personally to each and every one of us. And I pray that you would. And then I pray that you would allow our hearts to actually have the proper motivation to do this thing, that we would do it honestly to serve our husbands, that they'd be encouraged, that they would feel loved by this small act. And then God, would you make us desire to do these types of things more and more frequently, not so that they'll treat us better, not so that they'll turn around and do the same for us, but honestly doing it just because it will bring you glory, to serve our husbands well, to make note of them, to pay attention to them, to do things that will make their hearts light, to make their lives fuller and richer by the little things that we can do, that only we can do. Only we can love them in this way. Only we as their wives can be their helpmate, their encourager, their friend in this way. So God, speaks specifically to each and every one of us something that we can do that would be noticeable and important to our husbands. Let us not feel like we need to do the same thing as someone else, but would you really show us how unique we are, how unique our husbands are, by giving us something specific we can do, and then help us to walk that out. God, we do pray that you give our husbands the same desire, but we recognize that this is a challenge you're giving to us, and we want to honor you by serving our husbands without expecting anything else in return. So if it's on your heart and mind to give our husbands a similar challenge, that they might go out of their way to do something meaningful for us, great. We'll absolutely take it, and we'll recognize it as a blessing from you. But God, protect us from being women who only serve and love our husbands in practical ways because we expect them to do the same. God, doing that is actually, it's sin. It's the wrong motivation. It's the wrong agenda. So we ask that you would keep us from going down that rabbit trail of only giving and showing love so that we would get those same things back. Would you protect us from getting into those types of patterns from our side or from our husband's side? God, we thank you for the gift of marriage. We thank you for the privilege that it is to be a wife. Help us to step forward and do this tangible thing that will love and serve our husbands well, again, to glorify you, to love him, to grow in intimacy and oneness with our husbands, not for any other reason. Thank you for this idea. Thank you for the joy that I think chocolate croissants will bring to my husband. Help me to not eat too many of them. It's in Jesus' name that we pray together. Amen. All right, y'all. So that was an interesting version of hashtag praying for your husband daily. And I also would like to publicly say that I'm trying really hard to stay on my meal plan today. So even though I'm going to make these croissants for my husband, I'm going to not eat them. So that'll be interesting. So ask me tomorrow when we hang out again if I ate one. Ask me if I made them first, and ask me if I ate them second. All right, so y'all, do your thing. Find something you can do for your husband. Feel free to share this video if you know another wife or wanna-be wife, hope-to-be wife, soon-to-be wife who could use a little real talk about marriage and a little encouragement to find a way to love and serve and pray for her husband today. All right, you guys have a good night. I'll see you soon.